Hi everyone. So it's the end of week 9. It's Mother's Day here in the UK, and so I've been spending the day with my mum, which has been really, really lovely. It's been another kind of bit of hectic week at work, as always. Um, but saying that, I have managed to read the next book in my book challenge. So I've read 9 books in 9 weeks now. It's absolutely insane to think of. But yes, so here I am to talk about the first book of the Mortal Instruments series, The City of Bones. Now, this is the second time that I'm reading this book. I originally read the Mortal Instrument books 2, maybe 3 years ago now, following seeing the film. That's what led me onto the books. So I haven't delved into them since then. So I wanted to include them in this book challenge. And I have read over the past 3 weeks the prequels, which were written whilst these were being, I think about the fourth book was of this series was published before these prequels were made. So I've read them the past 2 weeks, and now I'm going on to Mortal Instruments. And I have to say, straight off the bat, if you read the prequels and then you read the Mortal Instruments, you can clearly see, or I should say read, Cassandra Clare's writing style has seriously improved. There's, I know obviously the prequels, it was 3 books, there's a heck of a lot of story that she had to cram in there, so you are thrown a lot of information in the prequels, but you can feel her pace and everything, how she describes certain situations. It's very different, and also I've noticed it's quite interesting that there's certain things that she's had to explain in the prequels, but there are other things that she doesn't, or she does it very briefly. And this book discusses them, and well, I should say the books in the Mortal Instruments series covers them in a lot more depth, a lot more information. You get more of a backstory information, because I suppose in a sense she's assumed that if you're reading the prequels, obviously if you read them in the order that she's published these books, you've already read this book, so you already have some information about this world. So just if you're going to read the prequels before you've read the Mortal Instruments series and you haven't read either before, there may be some elements that you're not necessarily going to get full info on in the prequels until you hit this book. So there you go, FYI, just wanted to let you know. Now, City of Bones, it follows obviously the same fantasy world as prequels that I've been reading the past few weeks, but instead of being set in Victorian London, these books are set in modern day New York. So obviously it is quite different. Your landscape, you're still covering stories about warlocks and werewolves and vampires and demons and the supernatural world, which I absolutely love. I absolutely love any stuff to do with the supernatural world. Kind of fantasy world, I adore it. So these really appeal to me. So our leader in this book, I should say our heroine, is a girl called Clary. She's 15 years old. She's lived an absolutely normal life, and then one day she finds herself in a club called Pandemonium and witnesses what she believes is a murder, although we know that it's not a murder as it goes on. It turns out that the thing, or the human that was being murdered, wasn't human at all. It was a demon who had taken human form, and he was being killed by shadow hunters, these people who protect the humans basically by getting rid of any demonic spirits that have passed into the human world, and basically look after us all. And because she can see them, because they have runes on their bodies that they draw that do specific things like heal them and let them hear things better, help them make them stronger and all this stuff. But there is a rune that makes them invisible, and the fact that she could see them through that rune means that she has Shadowhunter blood. And we find out that her mother was a shadow hunter, but there's a reason, and she's kept it secret from Clary, everything. There's a specific reason. I won't go into that reason because I'm going to, obviously, major spoilers there if you haven't read the book. But I really recommend that you read this book. Now, there is this whole the thing about this book in particular. I don't know if it's because she's the Mortal Instruments series is 6 books. Her prequels were 3 books. And I don't know if, because she was still doing kind of the same pace, kind of level of stuff in the Mortal Instruments books as she was doing in the prequel, she felt that she had to cram a lot of information into the prequels because she only had 3 books, while these Mortal Instruments had 6. So, that could explain some of the pace stuff. With the prequels. But with the Mortal Instruments, after reading 3 weeks of fast-paced stuff, kind of a lot of information, but then, as I said in my book with the review of the 3rd one, there wasn't really much going on at all, and it was a bit of a weird 3rd book. But for this book, as soon as you hit the Mortal Instruments, the pace calms down. It doesn't completely stop or anything like that. There's still a good pace to it, but you're getting a wider scope of the world. You're getting more detail in certain areas, and I think because of that, she has to slow her. She had to put it to the pace that it is. It's a comfortable pace. It still works. There's I much prefer the Mortal Instruments to the prequels, if I'm honest. Now, the one thing about the prequels also is that there's lots and lots of detail. She keeps going into details about certain items, certain places, certain names that you're gonna come across very, very quickly in this series of books. It might not just, all of them may not obviously come from this initial Mortal Instruments. You might meet them in the book 3 or book 2 or book 5 or something, but it's worth knowing certain items. She's done a lot of linking of, like, so for example, the first time we meet a character called Isabel, she's wearing a necklace with a red jewel, and that was worn by one of the characters throughout the prequels. So, there's daggers as well, and Pandemonium Club is a really big deal in the prequels, and also in Immortal Instruments is a place where people of that world come. I won't say any more than that, because again, I'm gonna flare up a load of spoilers, so I'm not gonna say anything more than that. But there is a lot of references to stuff in the prequels that are in this book, and I mean, for example, she's even done where she's completely replicated the introduction of two characters meeting each other. So in the prequels, we have got our heroine Tessa, and how she meets Jem. She's running through the institute. She goes into a room, and there's a boy playing the violin, and he thinks that she's someone else. She sees a character called Will, and he says, "Will, is that you?" In the Mortal Instruments, when Carrie wakes up in the institute, she's running through, she hears music, she goes in, and there's Jace, and Jace thinks that playing music, and there's Jace thinking that she's Alec, and he says, "Alec, is that you?" So, there's some things where she's completely mirroring what she's done in the prequel is what she's done in the Mortal Instruments book. But obviously different characters, different time, but still doing the same thing. Now, I really find this one interesting as well, because of in the Mortal Instruments, it deals with other complexities about various relationships with characters, and I like how the characters are very modern and reflects out more of our society. Not that I'm saying the prequels didn't do that, because they do have a mixture of people of different cultures and everything and that, but the way that she's connected the modern to the fantasy, I think that's absolutely brilliant. And you've got different ethnicities, different sexualities as well. I love the fact that Magnus Bane, he's an absolutely fantastic character, is a warlock who is, we know he's part Asian, we don't know any more about his ethnic background apart from that, who is also gay. Let's just say this, well, he's opened up to anything, let's just say that, but he's very interested in Alec at the moment, and sets up a relationship between the two of them later on the books. So it's really great that you've got this relationship between these two men is one of our love connections in these books. So I really fair dues for, making choices like that to do that. And I really love it when writers do that. I think it's fantastic. So definitely one to read, I think. It's got a good pace to it. The characters are absolutely brilliant. It's well written. Slightly written differently than prequels if you've read the prequels as well, but still worth reading, I think, definitely. Now, a few years ago, the film came out, which is what led me to the book. Now, why do I have a copy of this film? I think the film is okay. As an adaptation, though, it's terrible. Now, so yeah, you can wonder why have I got it then? I think the reason why I've got this is because I saw the film first. I liked the film. I thought it was an alright structure. It worked well as a film. It kept me entertained for a couple of hours and everything. I thought it was well made. It doesn't really follow the book though. There are a lot of aspects that they've changed to make it fit into a more cinematic world. They've cut entire sequences and characters out. They've rewritten a load of stuff. They've kind of sugar-coated a bit of the story that is obviously in the book as well. But this story in the book, the truth doesn't come out until 2, I think, or maybe even 3 books later. But in the film, the audience is told at the very beginning, this is a lie. We're going to say this because of this reason. And I think the reason for that is because, given what the situation is, I won't say what it is, obviously, because I don't want to spoil it. Because of what the situation is, if you went to a cinema and saw that and went out believing the cinema, thinking it would be true, you would go, oh my God, this is absolutely terrible. This is disgusting, kind of situation. But because you're told it's a lie, you kind of, in a sense, an audience can then accept that. But that's that's the way it is. The cast are really pretty quite good in this, in their roles there, but it's just such a shame that he decided to change so much of the story. I would still recommend this film, but don't take it as being exactly as the book. The book is so much better. There's so much more to it. There has recently the TV series that's been done in America of it, but unfortunately it hasn't come here in the UK, or if it has, I haven't seen anything about it. So I haven't seen the TV series, but from what I can tell, from what people have said on Tumblr and such, it's not that bad. So yeah, I'd like to see it myself, but until that day comes, I just have to wait. So overall, enjoyed The City of Bones, rereading it again. I think I definitely reread the Mortal Instruments series, given that I've enjoyed rereading the first one. As I said, the prequels I haven't necessarily fully loved them, but I have the Mortal Instruments series, and so I definitely recommend this one, and I would definitely reread it again, I think, because there's a particular character in it who I love. He's called Luke, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. So just wanted to throw that in there. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So that was the first Mortal Instruments books, and so as I always do, I'll do a separate video to announce what will be coming up in the next book I'll be reviewing, which is going to be week number 10. So I'm in double digits starting tomorrow. So yay, that's exciting. So I will see you around, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Have you read this book? Do you want to let me know what you think? You can leave a comment for me. If you want to let me know another way, you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Love to hear your thoughts on this book, and I guess I will see you guys soon.